Good afternoon. My name is Shelby Allison, and today I will be presenting on the history, legalization, and production of absinthe for the HRMA 3335 course Alcoholic Beverage Production. First, I would like to cover what is absinthe. By definition, absinthe is a potent green spirit made with the shrub of wormwood. Its alcohol content can range between 45 to 75%, and the beverage is around 80 to 150 proof, depending on the preference of the distiller. Absinthe has a very unique taste that can be attributed to the anise, wormwood, fennel, and other spices it is produced with that aid to a licorice-like flavor. There are also two main varieties of the beverage, first of which is Swiss or French absinthe, the most popular, and then French or Bohemian absinthe, which is spelled without an E. Absinthe has actually a quite unique history to it. The drink was invented by Dr. Pierre Ordinaire, pictured here to my right, in the 1790s, around the French Revolution, when French loyalists sought exile through Switzerland. The doctor began working with certain elixirs that were thought to have medicinal properties in order to distill the taste of wormwood, or more specifically known as Artemisia absinthium. Upon his death, he decided to leave the recipe to his housekeepers, who created small batches and marketed it as Dr. Ordinaire's absinthe. This attracted the attention of a lace merchant named Daniel Henry Dubai, who eventually made an offer to the housekeepers to buy their recipe and business from them in order to market it as his own. This drink makes quite a few appearances in art and literature, made famous by Vincent van Gogh and Hemingway. With the popularity of the drink spreading across Europe, it was nicknamed the Green Fairy due to its striking green color. This is caused by the chlorophyll colorant in wormwood that is released upon production. Due to its rich history and reputation, absinthe began the tradition of being served in a ritual-type setting with very specific paraphernalia that we will cover later in the presentation. With the growing popularity of absinthe came strong rumors and reputations of its effect on the person consuming it. One of these many rumors can be attributed to the studies published by Dr. Valentine Magnin, who was the pioneer in his field for the study of psychosis produced by alcoholism in 1874. His book, entitled On Alcoholism, the Various Forms of Alcoholic Delirium and Their Treatment, promoted a partially false conclusion of absinthe and its effects. He concluded in his research that absinthe causes out-of-control hallucinations, seizures, and heart failure due to the thujone found in wormwood oil. It is believed that this study was over-exaggerated in its conclusions due to the fact that Dr. Magnin performed his study and various forms of quote-unquote treatment on alcoholics with already pre-existing conditions. The results of his study contributed to the horrible reputation of absinthe worldwide and labeled it as a dangerous hallucinogenic. Modern discovery has determined that any medical ailments previously linked to absinthe in Dr. Magnin's study were due to overconsumption, impure absinthe, or alcohol withdrawal. Now, Dr. Magnin was not the only contributor to the bad reputation of the Green Fairy. A man named Jean Lanfray committed what historians call the Absinthe Murders in 1905. He consumed large amounts of 5 different kinds of alcohol, one of which was absinthe, and proceeded to kill his pregnant wife and 2 small children. This perpetuated the reputation of absinthe worldwide as a beverage that caused quote-unquote bad behavior. Soon after these occurrences were published, absinthe production and consumption was banned in many places worldwide. With that being said, modern scientific discovery has concluded that while thijone, the chemical compound found in wormwood, can cause very mild effects to the brain when consumed in large quantities, the government believed that regulation from the FDA about how the beverage is produced could create a safe avenue for people to consume and enjoy the historic drink. The United States then legalized the consumption and production of absinthe in 2007 after a 95-year ban, with FDA standards requiring absinthe sold in the United States to require to be less than 10 parts per million of thijone, which is essentially thijone-free. The absinthe bottle must also not contain any art or other wording that leads the consumer to believe that the drink has hallucinogenic properties or other mind-altering effects. Moving on to the production of absinthe, the drink is produced by allowing anise, fennel, hyssop, and wormwood to seep in alcohol. The mixture is then distilled, which allows the herbal oils and the alcohol to separate from the water, and the bitter essences are discharged from the herbs. The herbs and oils are then recondensed with the alcohol, and depending on the brand, the distiller will then reduce the liquid down to proof level ranging from 80 to 150 proof accordingly. Herbs are added after distillation to bring out the color from the chlorophyll in the herbs, creating a unique and glowing green hue. It is important to note that absinthe is still traditionally brewed in smaller batches, and it is difficult for distillers to keep consistency from batch to batch due to unique compounds found in the herbs and wormwood. Once you know the history and production standards of your absinthe, you can sit down and enjoy a glass with these traditional serving practices. Coined the absinthe ritual, traditionally served absinthe uses specific paraphernalia that we mentioned earlier, called an absinthe drip that contains ice water, a slotted absinthe spoon, a sugar cube, and an absinthe glass that is smaller at the bottom with a wide mouth, which helps to measure the absinthe while pouring. The server will traditionally allow the slotted spoon to lay over the glass with a sugar cube resting on top, which you can see in the image to my right. Water is then dripped over the sugar cube to leak through the spoon and dilute the absinthe. Another common practice that we see pictured here to the right is to pour a small amount of absinthe over your sugar cube to begin with, and then light it on fire before beginning the water drip. This causes a unique toasted aroma and brings out the strong licorice flavors in the beverage. Thank you very much for listening, and remember, enjoy your absinthe safely.